Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooke, and today we are going to just be doing a fun update, or a fun, not update, something fun, and an experiment, and a experiment update. So yeah, I don't know, that was a really long title there for this video, but today I'm going to be updating on a project or a test. I don't even know it's a test that I have been doing for the past week regarding propagations. And so I've already had the part of this film, and so we will go back to that. It has been officially 1 week since I started this elusive project, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'm going to be updating on that. And then I'm also going to be trying out something new and growing a plant in water, and just one fun announcement. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe because you're going to want to stay tuned for this. So maybe I should just do like the week prior's video and do that so that you can get an understanding of the very secretive project that I am talking about. It's not even a project, it's just a test. So insert here 1 week ago. So today we are going to be doing another chopping video, because there are a few plants that I purchased that I'm going to just chop back and propagate, because partially I want to test something out. So I purchased a bubbler, a fish tank air bubbler, or I don't even know what they're called. I just call them a bubbler. So they create air in the water for your fish tanks, and that, produces oxygen for your fish. But I have seen, I think a couple months ago, Fitzgerald Tropics from Dallas, they posted on their stories that they use these for their plant propagations. So they take these and they place them into the water with their propagation cuttings, and it creates more oxygen, which helps to produce roots faster on your propagations. So I want to test this out and see. So I am going to be doing that with a few different plants. I'm doing them with pothos first. I was going to cut down my Monstera aurea just to see, but I decided I'm not going to do that on a really expensive plant. I'm going to first test it out on pothos because those are easy plants. I know that they propagate well already, and so why not start with a lower costing plant? So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to chop down these two plants, and I'm going to put some in water with just water, some in perlite, just to see which produces, again, faster. I've already done a test between soil, perlite, sphagnum moss, and soil, and perlite came out the winner. I just shared this on a video like 2 videos ago. But I'm going to put those guys together, and then I'm going to put one set of propagations in water with the bubbler and see how they do. So I will link the bubbler below. This will be probably a process video, so I might have this to wait, a couple weeks before this video is finished to see actual results. But that is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be testing out a bubbler to see if it helps our propagations go faster, root faster. I have 2 plants here. Both are pothos. This pothos over here is a pothos Enjoy, or Pearls and Jade. I believe it's a Pearls and Jade because of the splashiness. But this is the Pearls and Jade I picked up from the Tipsy Gardener in Canton a few weeks ago. And so, at this time, a few days ago. But this plant I had already purchased because I want to chop it down and create some smaller pots. And so we're going to test it out on this guy. And then I have a really exciting plant for me. I don't know why. I was in Lowe's the other night and we found this. So this is labeled as a Epiprimnum aureum, but I think it's like a Gisenia. I don't know, don't quote me on that, because I just was looking at a plant store online and they were selling Epiprimnum aureus or aureums, and I thought about purchasing one, but it was $25 for a really small pot, and I really wasn't sure the difference, I guess, of the variegation between that and a golden pothos, because I've also heard a golden pothos called aureum or aurea, and so you get the Hawaiian pothos, the golden pothos. Those all seem the same to me. But I saw this one and I was like, no, I know this is different. So you can definitely tell the difference. It's a far more neon green, but with dark green splashes. So it's not a neon pothos, because those are also in existence. But this is like an inverted version of, I would say, a golden pothos, just green instead of yellow. So this had really nice variegation on it. They had like 4 pots. They were 20 bucks, I think. I'm not really sure. Oh, they were over $20. Okay, so just over $20, but 21. But I picked it up, thought it was really interesting, again, because I have been seeing them online more and more. I thought I would chop it up and see what we could find. Some of the variegation or the leaves don't look like they have variegation on it, which is totally normal in a variegated plant. But there are others that look really good, like have really nice variegation. So like these specifically here, which this camera is not going to pick it up, and then back here. So this was a super fun find. We're going to chop it all up and start propagating it and see what we can find. I am going to start though outside. I'm going to take all of the soil off of these plants, obviously, because I am propagating them in water. So while I do that, you can just hang out, and obviously it won't make a difference, but we'll be right back. I have taken all of the soil off. So was that necessary for the Jacinia because I could have just chopped it up? No. However, I am a soilless mix user here in this family, and so I don't want soil. So I just went ahead and removed it. So I have my perlite, which I put way too much water in. Look how it's separated. Way too much. Wasn't paying attention. And then I have 2 glass jars here. One, again, I will use just as water. The other one, I will put my fish aquarium air pump. So here is my, I don't even know what, aquarium air pump. It's just a small one. I bought it for like $10 on Amazon. I did not want to spend more than that because I don't know. I didn't even know if this would work. This is just a test to see what happens. So I, again, will link it below. I will also link a few other ones that were recommended, but they are a higher cost. The higher cost being $16 to $20. But again, just wanted to test this out. Get a small one because those were also larger ones. So I wanted to get a small one. Yes, this does plug into an outlet, so I will have to keep it outside of my greenhouse cabinet, which I think will kind of also give me an idea of how well they root, because a lot of my propagations I keep inside my little greenhouse shelving unit, and they do root far better than they were outside, or if they were to be outside of that setup. So I am going to just see what we've got here. So this actually comes with 2 pumps. This is also why I wanted it, or 2 air stones is what they're called. So 2 places that you can use and actually have 2 different setups. So you get your little tubes, which I already read the reviews on this one. They weren't bad, but they weren't like exceedingly awesome. So a lot of comments were that the tubing was just super flimsy, which it does. It bends and it creates cracks. You don't really want that. However, I am not using this for a fish tank. I am using this for a jar of water to put plant propagations in. And so I am not that concerned with the, bending, because I'm not going to be bending it over anything. Now, I do know, however, with these pumps, you always want to make sure that the pump is above your jar of water, because if anything happens and this is like on the ground like this, it will start sucking back the water, and then this is ruined. So keeping it above, it's not going to be able to suck that water up and have a backfill. So do note, like, this needs to be above your jar, whatever jar of water. So I'm just going to go ahead and do one of these. I'm going to keep the other one, because if this works, then I will do a setup with 2 at the same time. But just testing this out, and then your actual stones that create the bubbles. So I'm going to put this back in the box, leave one of the stones, and then I'm just going to quickly go through and see what we need to do. So yeah, it doesn't really give me good instructions. So I'll just wing it. I know that the tube needs to go into the front hole, like over it here. Another one of the comments that was popular on this review is that the tubes popped off. And so I'm making sure that I can get them as far back as possible, which that is pretty far. And if that happens, honestly, again, it's not like it's a fish tank, so I'm not that concerned about it, but I might just super glue it. That's a solution for me because, again, I'm not using this for an actual fish tank or anything like that. There is my little airstone connection. So this just goes into the water like that. Just plop it down there, and then I will turn this on and we'll see the bubbles. I just want to see and make sure it works. And it does. And you can hear the little humming. So they said to place a towel underneath of it if you wanted to, you know, not have the humming. This is in my office, so it's not like it's going to be bothering me. It's not in my bedroom and it's not in our living room. And so I'm just going to keep it there. There's a valve back here that can like intensify how much it's going out. So, ooh, that's a low setting and it's actually very silent. Then as you turn it up, the bubbles get more intense like that. So I'm probably just gonna keep it like that. I'm going to start just separating these. So I'm going to put some of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if we have enough to do them even. I'm gonna have to take that leaf off though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'm actually gonna take 2 of these out, and then I'm gonna put these 2 in, or these 6 in with the air, and then the 2 that already have the aerial roots, I'm going to put in the non-air pump water, whatever you want to call this, right here. And then for these guys, I don't really know what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to stick one of them in here and one of them in here. It already has roots, so you know what? We'll just take them off. I'm cutting it off. And then it has none. So I'll stick that there. Okay, so we have perlite, which I'm probably going to honestly dump this perlite because it has way too much water. It should not be like this separated. It just needs to be moist. So I will fix that and use this one as the perlite one. This is the non-bubbly water, and then this one is the bubbly water. And so I'm going to do a close-up and show how they started, and then we will document the process and see which starts to root faster. Okay, so we have seen now 1 week ago where we started with the fish propagation. It's not even a fish propagation, the fish bubbler propagation method. So I want to show now what they look like. I really should have been taking like better progress pictures or videos or something with these. Hello, dog. But I have not been. And so I've just been watching them, you know, with my own eyes, checking them out. I did do a video maybe 3 days after I started this, but I can tell you that I don't know that it is progressing. So this is the vase that is just plain water. There are no roots to report, which is totally normal. Water propagations, I mean, usually it takes for me 3 weeks, maybe more, depending on the plant. And so I actually added a few more plants to this lovely glass vase just to see how well they would do. So some of these plants in here are actually some of my harder plants to propagate. So I have a painted lady in here. I have Marantas. Those are really easy to propagate. I think I just stuck it in here to see how it would do. And then I have a philodendron Rio over here. And so the Rio and the painted lady are the hardest plants for me to propagate. They just don't root well, or quickly, I should say. And so I can already see that this yellow leaf here, this is the painted lady. This was not yellow when I stuck it in here, but shocking. because that was also part of the problem is I've not had good luck with them sticking around. So painted ladies are a philodendron. Typically they are the easiest plants for me to propagate. But for some reason, that type of plant just is very difficult for me. I have tried it in perlite and I have tried it in sphagnum moss. This is water. Water's obviously not doing it. Also stuck them in the bubbler with the bubbler, which is under my Brina Grow Light. Hello. Wow, you scared me. I stuck them in with the bubbler. This is the bubbler jar. And so again, I will show a close-up video of all this, which is pretty much nothing. So the videos that I had watched on this were a couple, actually quite a few. So one of them said that with the bubbler, their plants started to root in 3 days, which is very unheard of. I'm like, no, I think that you probably already had roots on them. And so of course the roots are going to grow quicker then. So I am starting at bare roots, nothing. So I am expecting this to then take longer. However, it's been a week, exactly 1 week, and I don't see any progress on them. I do see that the leaves or foliage that had growth on them or had a root on them have started to grow out a little bit more. Like there is a white tip that's how you can tell the new growth is it's white. But it's very minimal, very minimal. I would not say that it is advanced in any way. And so the same thing here. I took this guy, I don't see any roots. I have a close-up video of this Enjoy Pothos, which is one of the ones I started with. I took videos of this one in the bubbler and this one that was outside or in normal water. And they're both exactly the same. They have done nothing. But I will tell you that I don't know. I don't know. It's not, I mean, my painted ladies in the bubbler jar have stayed green versus the one in stagnant water has yellowed. And so I think that right now this is an inconclusive test. Um, I just am not sure that I'm sold on it completely yet. And so I don't know what to say if it will help or not. It was again a $10 investment, so wasn't like it was a huge ordeal, but I was hoping for a little bit more. Seeming, so many good people or comments, about it were good, but I will give it more time. I will wait. And I have seen these, the bubblers be put in small jars. So I know like the bubblers are rated for a gallon or more water. That's what you're supposed to use them in. But I have seen people use them in the small jars. So that's what I did. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. But, or like anything that maybe that's what is, not making it work. But I do notice that my little variegated Maranta, I stuck it in here because it was just growing so leggy, and Marantas are very finicky, but it was growing so leggy, and so I stuck it in the water in here just to see, and it's not really doing that great actually, which is kind of bizarre. Usually it does pretty well. The roots are really healthy, but ooh, all that foliage. And I am using filtered water for both of these, by the way. I always use filtered water if I'm propagating in water. But that is not good. That's not exciting to see at all. I really loved my variegated Maranta, but maybe the water is messing with it because the Maranta in here is doing really well. Or I mean, not the water, the bubbler. I think I'm going to stick it in the non-bubbler water and see if that helps it. But anyways, they also came off the same plant. So that's why I'm like, well, it's a little bizarre. They're sitting in the same space. This one is really sturdy and, not folded in at all whatsoever. And then this one that was in the bubbler is completely curled. Not good. Okay, so anyways, I will keep you posted. That is just an update video for the bubbler situation. Again, nobody knew about the bubbler because I've been waiting, but after a week, because again, I was assuming that, again, based on all the videos, they would root better or root faster, but they didn't. So we will just hold off and we will see what happens. I will let it go and continue to watch them. Maybe I'll watch them a little bit better and see if anything progresses. But that is my update on the bubbler situation. And I think we're done talking about the bubbler now. On to the exciting thing before we get into my just other test, which I want to put my silver band Maranta in water. So this is my silver band Maranta. It's blooming again because it's springtime and you can see it right there, and they have the cutest blooms, but I've had a really hard time, obviously, keeping this watered. So they really do like to be well watered. They do not like to dry out, and they like filtered water. So I have this sitting under my Barina grow lights. They do not mind it. They actually really like the high light, I have found, because I had a variegated Maranta that I cut all the way back and grew it back in my little greenhouse shelving unit. It did wonderfully under the lights. It grew so large and beautiful. And so I just stuck this guy under them because it was sitting on a chair in indirect light, not getting a lot. And so anyways, it's been a little neglected, but I really do love it and I really want to save it. I do not want it to die. And so it does have a lot of new growth, but I think I'm just going to transfer it purely to water to see if that does better. I have a Maranta, or a Calathea orbifolia, that is in a self-watering planter. I've had it in there for about a year or over now, and it's done great. I would like to get a self-watering planter for this guy, but I just can't find one that I like. And so that is where we're at. But I also have some propagations of it, which again, I know I just said, like, let's jump into the fun stuff thing before I go talking about random other things. But looking at all these propagations, so I have so many propagations of plants that it's becoming a little bit overwhelming. And so I have a lot of houseplants, not as many as I had at one point, believe it or not. But with that, I have propagated a lot of my plants because they will outgrow the space that they're in, and I don't have a lot of space that they can just be growing everywhere. I'm sure that if some people had the collection, they would, but personally, I like to keep mine tamed, and I think I talked about that in a previous video recently. I like to keep them tamed and to like be maintained, and so I often propagate in order to alleviate the plants just going wild. And I have now filled my entire shelving unit of plants. It's become a lot. I mean, I have so many. It's a 4-tiered shelf, and I'll show a video of it, and it is completely filled. And so last year I did a pop-up shop, and this year I want to do more, but I have so many plants. Like, I have a lot of plants, and I have a lot of propagations outside of the greenhouse cabinet, like this full jar that's just fully rooted, and this full jar that's fully rooted, and another jar in this corner. I mean, literally, like, it's getting to be too much. It's too much. I have propagations coming out of everywhere. And so I would like to do a giveaway. I would like to give away two of you plants, because I want to try two things. Number one, I have never shipped plants before, and I have thought about, and I've shared here, shipping plants out from my Etsy shop. So I do have an Etsy shop if you're interested to look at that. But I thought about just placing them on there, the ones that I definitely have so many duplicates of, and selling them. But before I do that, I really want to know the process, and I really want to test it and make sure that the plants arrive alive. And so again, I have never done that personally. I've never shipped plants. I have transferred plants like of my own through the States, but I have never shipped one in the mail. And so what I want to do is, again, give away two of you a plant for my greenhouse, or maybe a couple of them, just to see. And so how I'm going to do that is I'm going to do a giveaway on the old Instagram, because that seems to be the easiest thing. And so if you are interested and you want to help me out, this is a free plant that I am shipping to you. And I have several rare or uncommon plants. I have epiprimnums. I have, in this jar, I have a Syngonium albo. I have epiprimnum albo. I have a, oh yeah, that's a plow manny. I have Mandula, gloriosums. You name it, I probably have it. And so, not really, but like I do have a lot of random plants. So I would like to do that. So if you are interested in entering this giveaway, I want you to go over to Instagram. I will link my handle here below. Follow me and then be on the lookout. I will announce it in my stories. I will announce it here on YouTube. Be on the lookout for the giveaway so that you can possibly win free plants. And let me tell you, I don't have a lot of Instagram followers. I have more people on YouTube, but I don't have a lot of Instagram followers, so that's a pretty good shot that you have for winning these free plants. Anyways, that's my fun, like, help me out, go do that. That way I can test the waters on shipping plants and see if it's something that I would be interested in doing in a later time. But I want to try that out this spring. I want to see if I can get ahead of that. On to the not so fun part. So this silver band maranta, again, I've had it for several months now. Last year it bloomed so well. It was just constantly blooming. Already this year it's bloomed twice. So this is its second bloom. So these blooms last very, very short days. I would assume, like, honestly, not even a week maybe. They just die and they rebloom. So already this one has a different shoot, like down really, it's really tiny. But down here, this had already bloomed and died off, and then the new bloom came out on top again, and it's alive and well. And these ones have this beautiful purple coloring on the inside, coming inside out. Otherwise, it's just a white flower. I should have taken photos because the only other maranta that I've had bloom is my red. I don't even know what you actually called it, but I just call it a red maranta. And so that guy bloomed all the time and out of season as well. But I believe it was just a purple flower. I don't think that they're like a Hoya and they have different flowers and different looks and, shapes. I'm assuming that it's just kind of the same flower look, but I could be wrong. So let me know if you know that. But this guy, I picked this up from Nicholson Hardy Garden Center in Dallas. And actually, it's a really great, like, hidden treasure of a plant shop. So many beautiful plants, so many rare plants that I had not seen before, and I had never heard of this. It is a little bummer to get to because in my area, I have to pay a toll to get past it. So my husband loves that when I ask to go plant shopping and we got to pay tolls to get there. But I'm sorry, Robin Hood Men in Tights just popped in my head. I'm going to transfer this to water. There are multiple plugs in this one. Oh, it has beautiful flowers coming out this side too. I'm telling you, these guys are so fun, and they are called prayer plants because they move at night. And so it's super fun to watch. I think I've shared this story before, but when I first got my maranta, I didn't do much research about it. And so I and my husband were so confused. Oh, the roots on this look good. We're so confused when, oh, hold on, sorry, I'm getting off subject because the roots look so good. And there is a corum right here. I don't know if the marantas call them corums too, like alocasia, but it's like a little, you could plant this guy and it would grow a new plant. Anyways, when I first got it, I set it in my living room and we were just sitting there that night, and my husband looked over and he's like, "How did you kill your plant already?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "You killed the plant already." And I looked and the plant was like completely closed up, and it was a red maranta. And I got so confused. We were both over there trying to pry the plant's leaves down to like flatten it out. And then we Googled it and learned, yeah, that's normal. They should go up and move. And it's what they do. So I just thought that was funny because we were literally trying to push the plants, foliage down, thinking that would help it. But this guy is insanely well rooted. And so I'm just trying to break all the soil off, which is probably going to cause the plant to go into shock. Shocking. They do have a sensitive thing about them, I guess. I have done this before again, like I've repotted several marantas. I will say that you really, if you're going to repot it and pot it up, really watch them. I would not touch the roots. I would just place it in and then place the soil that you need to fill, like backfill the pot with, around it, and they will root out. But for this, I am going to water, and so I'm going to have to do it. So it might cause a bit of a shock, but I know from doing this in the previous times with my plants that they'll be okay and they will come back. So I have all of the plants roots cleaned off and they look really healthy and good. So there are those, as well as this one. This one has 2, again, corms, you can see them. And then that guy. So I forgot to get filtered water for this. So I'm just going to stick them in this pot. And then I use these as centerpieces, so I'll probably stick it at my kitchen table. It gets indirect southwest facing light, like very, very indirect. Hardly at all, honestly. We'll see how well it grows, but you can see all the roots in there. But this cute little vase. So again, I like to use my plants as centerpieces. That was it. That was pretty much it. That was my little water transfer, my giveaway. So be sure to subscribe to this channel and make sure you subscribe to my Instagram or follow me on Instagram. That way you can be up to date when that does get announced. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you next time.